Hello, welcome back. Let's talk about the few common foods readily available to all Kenyans. A new report on the headlines shows that your sumptuous tomato salad, fruit pudding, potatoes, or sukumawiki stew could be predisposing you to untold health risks due to toxic pesticide residues found in sampled agrochemicals used by farmers. Farmers, horticultural workers, and open-source water users are continually being exposed to toxic pesticides imported into the country from China and Europe, which represents Kenya's two largest exporters of farm chemicals. Data released on Wednesday by Heinrich Ball Foundation, an environment and food security lobbyist, shows that Kenyans are consuming food containing residues of pesticides banned in Europe in 2007 but sold to farmers in Kenya. Well, does this sound crazy to you as it does to me? A recent report on highly hazardous pesticides in Kenya revealed that over half of the 310 pesticides investigated were found to contain, among others, carbosulfan, a substance known to damage critical human organs. Take a keen look at these. According to World Health Organization, human exposure to carbosulfan leads to liver and kidney failure. Additionally, humans also tend to have corroded omental fat layering and peripheral fat, which are key in protecting the inner intestinal linings. I know this is a bit technical to understand, but I'll show you in pictures. You can imagine what happens when your intestinal linings no longer have the protection they need. Definitely, you'll be dealing with other sorts of ailments, and only God knows what will happen to you. You can actually get an epigastric hernia, which is a common condition caused by a weakness in your abdominal wall between your belly button and sternum. Let's also listen to what Michael Albin says.
An epigastric hernia is a hernia that occurs usually below the rib. It's actually below the xiphoid process, so it's a space that's below the ribs and above the belly button area. Usually presents as a physical bulge in the middle aspect of the abdomen, and in the area of the linea alba, which is a thin fascial tissue, a thin line basically, in the center of your abdomen. Sometimes you don't see the physical bulge, but you feel pain in that area. But when you cough or sneeze or put pressure, then the bulge becomes apparent. Usually on physical examination, we could find these hernias. Basically, by pressing over the middle aspect of the belly button, when you cough or sneeze, we could feel the bulge, which is basically the hernia pushing through this defect. If we can't feel the physical bulge, then we could use MRI, CAT scan, or ultrasound to try to better visualize the abdomen and try to find the hernia that way. Usually people get surgery when it's causing symptoms, which is either pain or discomfort. But if there's a physical bulge, that's also a reason to get it repaired. It could be repaired with either a direct incision over the area of the hernia, or sometimes it's also done laparoscopically, where you work around the periphery, reduce the hernia. But in both cases, the approach that we do is that we want to close the muscle, reinforce the muscle, so we reduce the chances of the hernia coming back.
Now, let's continue. In addition to carbosulfan, humans, apparently, are also exposed to glyphosate. It's worth noting that despite World Health Organization and the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization giving it a clean bill of health on water contamination, a 2016 research by the International Agency for Research on Cancer showed that it can cause cancer in humans. Equally, another toxic substance, carbofuran, despite being listed on the Pest Control Products Board's website as a banned substance in Kenya and the United States, it is still available, but labeled differently in Kenya. The three, carbosulfan, glyphosate, and carbofuran, are the most common in the Kenyan market. Today, farmers in Kenya are using billions of liters of toxic pesticides in their maize, wheat, coffee, potatoes, and tomato plantation fields, especially in the Rift Valley, Central, Western, and Nyanza regions. Surprisingly, most of the pesticides easily available over agrovet counters have been proven to cause cancer or genetic defects, impair fertility, or harm unborn children. Now, on a more interesting note, Kenyan farmers are spending up to $72.7 million yearly to sustain the booming import business of killer chemicals as regulators fall short of cracking the whip. Imported pesticides and fungicides, according to the report, are used on over 635,000 hectares of agricultural land. Out of the 310 pesticide products used, only 6 are insect pest control biopesticide, and only 1 biopesticide is commonly used to control fungal diseases. Sustainable biopesticides account for a mere 2% of the total pesticide volume used in Kenya, while hazardous pesticides account for 76%. Take a second to load all that before we continue. Now, in February this year, Kenya's pesticides regulator sounded an alarm over the rising cases of cancer in Embu County, pointing to a deep-rooted yet unchecked use of harmful chemicals on Muguka and Mura farms. With such chilling revelations of pesticide-laced foodstuffs in circulation on the market, and a revival of a debate of the much-opposed genetically modified foods, neither one guarantees Kenya's food security nor its safety. It's true also that with climate change impacts becoming heavy to bear, new pests and diseases are continually pushing both commercial and smallholder farmers to use more lethal pesticides on farms, exacerbating the impacts on humans and the environment. To wrap up, I think with everything that's happening now, it's imperative that we watch what we consume so we can stay healthy. So, now you know. Please keep vigil for more informative and educative updates. Also, remember to subscribe and hit the like and notification buttons so I can keep you in the know zone. Bye-bye.